Welcome back to After Impact. What happens to survivors of serious road crashes who are left with life-changing injuries? We'll never fully understand the hidden costs of road trauma, the physical, mental, financial, social and functional costs. What we do know is they can last a lifetime.
Serious injuries affect everything in your life really quickly and really severely and for a really long time. They affect physically how you do things and how you operate. They affect speech, they affect how you think, they affect relationships, they affect your emotions, your wallet, bottom dollar. Can I afford to live at the moment? And what does my life look like? Does my car need to be different now? Can I drive anymore? Can I have that job that I worked so hard to get or was so good at? Does that look the same for me? Does that look the same for my family?
The thing I most miss would be, I guess, my life. Kind of feels like I never grew up. Like I was this 21-year-old fella from Humdidoo, playing sport, qualified diesel mechanic, about to travel the world, and it just never happened.
So it's hard to quantify the things I've lost from my life. It's the little things that really impact you on that daily basis. Tying your shoelaces, cutting a steak, cooking, opening things. A lot of physical activities require those two hands. There's no way to think about it until you have to try to do it for the first time with one hand. And that's when you're like, oh, this sucks.
There's a few things I can't do anymore. If I wanted to get a particular job, I have to make sure that it's not a constant standing job. Otherwise, I'll get reoccurring pain in my lower back again. My dog, she's got a permanent leg injury as well. So when she gets super excited, she can't jump around anymore like she used to.
I have lost so much from this crash. I can't run, I can't jump, I can't stand for long periods of time. I used to be sporty. I used to love water skiing, snowboarding, and I can't do any of that now. That sucks.
The world that Eli went into with doctors, hospitals, ongoing therapy, because it's still going. Rehabilitation never ever stops. And it's a world that no parent wants to go into, but all parents should know a little bit about and talk to their kids about how it can impact not just you, but everyone around you.
I was 6 foot, strong as, and now I can't even get myself out of bed. I can't go to the toilet. I have to use a catheter. I never saw this happening to me.
Everybody gets to choose to take risks, but nobody gets to choose the consequences. I didn't understand that at the time. Jails and cemeteries are full of people who live like I did, drove like I did. So if the worst I have to deal with is a quite obvious limp, slurred speech at times, well, it's not the worst thing that could happen.
Throughout this program, we've certainly witnessed some confronting moments. But if there's an upside to the pain and suffering each of our survivors is facing, it's that all 7 have been able to move forward significantly with their lives. Having experienced a terrible life-changing event, each of them, where possible, is now trying to use their story to help create positive change. When we spoke to Will, it was almost a year to the day after his accident. Will has risen to the significant challenges he faces. He's grown in confidence with using his wheelchair and has re-skilled himself in things such as using a mobile phone. His tight-knit family keeps him moving forward, which he thrives on. While he really misses life on the family farm and also his job as a FIFO worker, he's now become involved in wheelchair rugby.
So while I was in the spinal rehab unit, I was introduced to another person in a wheelchair, and he told me about wheelchair rugby, and the next week they got me in a chair and I've been playing it ever since. And it's just great to get amongst other people with similar sort of injuries, and you learn so much more.
it will help the function that he has. And then there's just the fact of getting out and getting back into a community and interacting with other people. So yeah, it's been huge.
Almost 3 years to the day after her accident, Samara went back to full-time work as an event manager and is currently working towards a diploma in events. She now lives in her own home, which was finally completed after significant delays due to her accident. Hazel is still a huge part of her life, and the two of them are often seen at their local park. During her rehab, Samara shared her story with NT school students.
I told them about my accident and how, it's a split second and everything changed. I just wanted them to make sure that they were aware and safe on the roads, because accidents happen. I wasn't texting on my phone, I wasn't drunk, I wasn't on drugs, none of that stuff. I would never put my Hazel in danger, or I would never hurt her in any way, but sometimes it's just out of our control of what happens, and I just wanted to get across to them that driving is a privilege, not a right to be on these roads. So you just need to be aware of your surroundings and drive to the conditions and be safe.
Anyone who's just met her probably doesn't even realise how serious an accident that she's been in. Those of us who knew her before the accident have noticed the difference. Ultimately, she's still Samara. She's still fun, happy-go-lucky. She's so determined. She's such a hard worker. We're so proud with everything that she's achieved and everything she's going to continue to achieve.
Blake's been getting his life back on track. These days, he works for the NT government, since a one-armed Sparky is not a highly sought-after profession. He hasn't stopped being a lovable larrikin. He's still good mates with his motorcycle, even though he can no longer ride it. Instead, he drives a vehicle that's been modified to allow for the loss of his arm. He wants students and young drivers to understand what living with serious injury means, and freely gives his time to that cause.
Just looking at me, I want you to consider how things could have ended up so differently. If I'd been speeding, not wearing my protective gear, or doing the wrong thing, what this situation I experienced could have been much worse.
After having weight and occasional mental health issues, a mate suggested he take up Muay Thai kickboxing to help with his physical and mental outlook.
For the last 2.5 years, I've been doing it weekly, even went to Thailand for 2 months to train. No ambitions, no goals, but it's something I love.
Yeah, his confidence has built up so much. We treat him no different to anyone. His training in a fighter's class is pretty hard, and especially when you're doing sparring and that. They don't take it easy on him. The biggest thing having Blake on the gym, it's unreal. I tell him all the time that he makes all these fighters become humble, because they look at him, and if he can do something, then you better do it, because you got 2 hands and legs, he doesn't, and he's doing it. So
John fights his mental demons and body image issues every day, as well as the physical scars and ongoing pain from his accident. He works full-time in the insurance industry and in 2023 was named the Underwriter of the Year for the NT. Despite what happened to him, he still loves riding motorcycles. John's built a loving family environment with his wife Sky and takes immense pride in bringing up their daughters.
I'm a lot more emotional than I used to be. I think I really appreciate small moments in life. And, sometimes I get emotional thinking about what Sky's life would look like if I wasn't here, Yeah, I would have missed out on a lot.
You definitely learn to appreciate the little things in life. I never leave John without telling him I love him. Not that I wish that I won't see him again, but because it is possible. You've got to make the most of what you have in your moment.
John isn't just a statistic, all right? He's my mate. I've seen what he's had to go through. I just hope that no one else would go through that or have to go through that.
For Lockie, his acquired brain injury and other physical injuries have not held him back from remaining active. He does presentations to prisons, sporting clubs and students to encourage people to look after their mates when they're on the road.
On the night of the crash, I was wearing my seatbelt, I wasn't under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and I wasn't speeding. The person towing the boat, he insecurely tied the mattress down. That's the risk he chose to take, and I'm left to live with the consequences.
He's also a mentor at Brain Injury South Australia. To help with his poor memory caused by brain injury, he's taken up photography, especially around his prized fruit and veggie garden and at live music gigs. Lockie and his partner Jess also share their lives with Digger and Freddie, 2 rescue dogs from a shelter.
Yeah, I can't believe the things I've seen him have to go through and the strength he's had to find and the ways in which he's grown, and it's made me cherish life because I'm proud of the way that he helps other people see the world and the way he spends time with each person, you know, in a way that shows them that they mean something to him. He does that with every person he meets. That's such a beautiful thing.
Holly's acquired brain injury and painful body injuries have become driving forces in her life. She's finally getting to do some of the travel she missed out on in her early 20s and has her boyfriend Nick to enjoy the ride with. She currently works on a casual basis in Repat at the Brain Injury Ward and also for Brain Injury South Australia. Wherever possible, Holly talks to students and young drivers to help them understand how a serious injury can impact for life.
Imagine waking up in a hospital bed to your body being completely broken. Imagine being in a brain injury ward at the age of 22.
She's helped hundreds of people. Like, she's gone to schools. She talks in front of lots of people, thousands of people at a time. She's amazing. Like, she's really, really good at what she does. And she's an inspiration to everyone and me. Like, I want to do better as well on the roads after hearing what's happened to her.
If I can get through just to one of you today, how serious and how quickly your life can change being in a car crash, that is all I want.
Eli has now been living with his serious brain and body injuries for some 20 years. He talks to young drivers and school students in classrooms and at major events as often as possible.
But it's an actual miracle that I didn't kill my girlfriend at the time, who was sitting in the passenger seat.
This is made more powerful by the fact that he takes 100% ownership of the crash he caused.
I can remember sitting just saying to him one day, how are you doing with all this? And he just quietly said to me, well, it's my fault. I got myself here.
Eli's wife, Ali, has helped bring new purpose to his life, and their dog, Henry, gets him out and about every day. He's also taking singing lessons to help raise money for the Get Home Safe Foundation.
Roll, 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 got it, if you're my soul, all right.
There's a tremendous responsibility that comes with driving any vehicle. That responsibility extends to keeping ourselves and others safe on our roads. Regardless of who's at fault, serious road crashes can result in people being killed. They can also result in people having to live with lifelong and life-changing injuries, as 40,000 Australians will attest to each year. And that's not to mention the impact on those around them. I hope this program and the stories from our road crash survivors has caused you to think about your choices on the road and the consequences and the hidden costs of serious road crashes after impact. I'm Ali Langdon. Thank you for joining me for this special program. We'll leave you now with this uplifting story from Will and his parents, John and Louise.
I think it was about 2 months after my injury. I was having a bit of a down day, and I remember Dad asking what was wrong.
The thing he really wanted to do was give us a hug. And it's a simple thing that you just take for granted.
So I got my left arm up over my dad's shoulder, and then he held my right arm and lifted it up and put it over his back in a hug.
I walked in after John had been hugged and he said, Mum, I've got a surprise. And he struggled and he got both arms around me. And it's just heartwarming. Just never forget.
Really focus in on the simplest things in life. thing is enormous in your life.
There's quite a few tears from everyone that day.